Only the names have been changed. The story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed.
You loved someone. You tried everything, but you couldn't be with them. Now they're gone, and you dream about what could have been. You had people in your life who meant everything to you. Then, you lost them. Death took them away, and no matter how much you wish otherwise, they're not coming back. You spent years pursuing your dream job. You worked hard, sacrificed, pushed yourself, but it didn't happen. Now, you wake up every day doing work that makes you miserable, wondering where it all went wrong. But what if there's another version of you living the life you were supposed to have? In another universe, you're with the person you love. The people you lost are still alive. You're working your dream job, waking up happy every single day. What if your disappointments here exist because all the good outcomes went somewhere else? This idea comes from physics, specifically quantum mechanics. In the 1950s, a physicist named Hugh Everett proposed something radical. He said that every time a quantum event happens, every time a particle could go left or right, exist or not exist, the universe splits. Both outcomes happen. Not one or the other, both. This became known as the many worlds interpretation. The theory says reality branches constantly. Every moment, every decision, every possibility creates a new universe. You're standing at a crossroads. You can go left or right. The moment you choose, the universe splits into two. In one universe, you went left. In another universe, you went right. Both universes are real. Both versions of you exist. You're at a coffee shop. You see someone you find attractive. You could talk to them, or you could stay silent. The universe splits. In one branch, you walked over and started a conversation. In another branch, you stayed quiet and left. Both happened. You apply for a job. You could get it, or you could be rejected. The universe splits. In one reality, you got the call saying you're hired. In another reality, you got the rejection email. Both are real. Every choice, every moment, every possibility, they all happen. Reality branches into infinite versions, and you exist in all of them simultaneously. Right now, there are countless versions of you. Some made better choices, some made worse choices. Some are happy, some are miserable. Some are alive, some are dead. The version of you reading this is just one branch in an infinite tree of possibilities. And somewhere in that tree, there's a version of you who got everything you wanted. The question is, why are you here instead of there? Think about all the choices you didn't make. The job offer you turned down because it seemed too risky. The city you almost moved to but stayed where you were. The person you saw across the room but never talked to. The business you thought about starting but convinced yourself it would fail. Every single one of those choices happened somewhere. In another universe, you took that job. You moved to that city. You walked up to that person and said hello. You started that business. Right now, there's a version of you living in the city you always dreamed about. They wake up every morning looking at a view you only saw in pictures. They built a life there, made friends there. Maybe they're happier than you are. There's a version of you who talked to that person. Maybe they fell in love. Maybe they got married. Maybe they have the relationship you always wanted but never found. There's a version of you who took the risk. They started the business. Maybe it failed and they're worse off than you. Or maybe it succeeded and they're living the life you think about when you can't sleep at night. Some versions of you succeeded where you failed. They got the opportunities you missed. They made the right choice when you made the wrong one. They're living better lives, happier lives, the lives you were supposed to have. But some versions failed where you succeeded. They made mistakes you avoided. They took risks that destroyed them. They're living worse lives than yours, wishing they could be where you are. Every possibility exists somewhere. Every road you didn't take was taken by another you. Every door you didn't walk through was opened by someone with your face, your memories, your name. And they're all real. They're all happening right now. While you're sitting here reading this, another version of you is living a completely different life. They made one different choice years ago, and that choice sent them down a different path. The life you could have had exists. You're living it. Just not here. Here's where it gets strange. What if happiness is finite? Not in one universe, but across all universes. What if there's only a certain amount of success, joy, and good fortune allocated to all versions of you, and it has to be distributed across infinite realities? Think of it like this. Imagine all your possible outcomes, all your potential happiness, all your possible successes, spread across countless universes. Some versions of you get more, some get less. Some get everything, some get nothing. If one version of you is living your dream life, happy, successful, fulfilled, maybe that means another version had to get less. Maybe you're that other version. This is cosmic balance theory, the idea that reality has to balance itself out. If someone wins big in one universe, someone loses in another. If one version of you gets the person you love, maybe another version loses them. If one version gets the dream job, another version struggles in work they hate. Philosophically, it's compelling. It explains the feeling you have that something is missing. That sense that you're supposed to be somewhere else, living some other life. That persistent thought that you're in the wrong reality. Maybe you feel that way because it's true. Maybe your happiness is somewhere else. Maybe another version of you is living the life you want, and you're here living what's left over. Maybe that's why you're unhappy. Not because you did something wrong, but because the universe split, and all the good outcomes went somewhere else. Some people believe dreams are windows into other universes. You go to sleep and suddenly you're living a different life. You're in places you've never been. You're with people you've never met. You're doing things you've never done. Sometimes these dreams feel more real than your waking life. You wake up and for a moment, you're confused about which reality is the real one. Dreams might show you the other branches, the other versions of your life playing out in parallel universes. When you sleep, your consciousness briefly connects with another you, and you experience their reality. Then there's déjà vu, that feeling that you've lived this exact moment before. You're in a place you've never been, having a conversation you've never had, but somehow you know what's coming next. This could be a memory from another timeline bleeding through. Some people report feeling like they've lived another life. Not past life regression or reincarnation, just the persistent sense that somewhere, somehow, they existed differently. They made different choices. They lived in a different place. They were a different person. Dreams could be just your brain processing information. Déjà vu could be a glitch in memory. That feeling of having lived before could be imagination. Or, we're drawn to these ideas because we sense something real. On some unconscious level, we feel the other versions of ourselves. We feel the other realities we're living in. Every night when you dream about a life you've never lived, you might be experiencing a life you are living, just not here. The many worlds interpretation is the foundation of parallel universe theory. Proposed by physicist Hugh Everett in 1957, it states that all possible outcomes of quantum measurements actually occur. The universe doesn't choose one outcome. It splits into multiple branches where every outcome happens. Then, there's the multiverse theory. This suggests our entire universe is just one bubble in an infinite foam of universes. Each universe has its own laws of physics, its own timeline, its own version of reality. Some are similar to ours. Some are completely different. String theory supports this idea. It proposes that reality has more dimensions than we can perceive. These extra dimensions could contain parallel universes existing alongside ours, separated by barriers we cannot cross. The quantum superposition principle shows that particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. Some physicists interpret this to mean those multiple states represent different universes. When you observe the particle, and it chooses a state, you're simply experiencing one branch, while other versions of you experience the other branches. Cosmic inflation theory suggests the universe expanded rapidly after the Big Bang. But this inflation didn't happen uniformly everywhere. Different regions inflated at different rates, creating separate, pocket universes. Each one isolated from the others, each one a complete reality. These theories have mathematical support. The equations work. The predictions align with observations. But we cannot directly observe other universes. We cannot visit them or communicate with them. They exist beyond the boundaries of our observable reality. The theories tell us parallel universes are real. They tell us every version of you exists somewhere. They tell us all possibilities happen. But they cannot tell us which universe you're in, or why you ended up in this one instead of another. That's the end of the video. But for this version of you, it's possible that you are simultaneously watching this video with the other versions of you. But their stories continues. See you in the next one.